Hi everyone, welcome back for episode number 53 of the weekly playback. I know I've been gone for a few weeks. I took a longer absence than I thought I would, so I moved into a house and I am now in my new studio slash game room. I even got a really nice big table for gaming. It is 3.5 by 6.5 feet. So super exciting. I have yet to play a game on it, but I'm really excited to finally play bigger games in my own game room. So this is a work in progress. This room, actually, the previous owners had it as a nursery. So on the wall next to me, there is a big world map with cute little animals on it, like that belong in different continents. I was planning on shooting in front of that, but then the camera would not capture the entire map, and that was just driving me insane. So then I thought I would make use of these shelves because also it was making me sad that there weren't any board games behind me in my video. So I was like, okay, I'll make use of these shelves. So I'm actually just sitting at one of the long ends of the table. So so I put a couple of board games there so it, feels like a board game video. So this is a work in progress. These are some closets behind me. I'm hoping to, at some point, take out the doors to these closets on this side and just put in some shelving units like in the wall. That's going to take time. I do have my game library downstairs, so I converted an entire room into a library slash office, and I'm still unpacking lots of games. So I haven't even unpacked like a quarter of my games yet, just because I've been busy working on the more important parts of the house, like the kitchen and bathroom and stuff like that. So it's going to take time until everything is the way I want it to be, but here we are. So I finally have my table set up, and I thought I would finally shoot a video because it has been too long. And I wanted to shoot a video before heading to PAX Unplugged later this week, which I cannot believe it's this week. So anyway, let's get into the games that I played in the last few weeks. Not too many games because I've been super busy with moving. Moving is such a big process, but I won't go into that right now. So I can talk a little bit more about that at the end of the video. So I'll talk about one game that I was super excited to receive, which is Lacrimosa. So Lacrimosa, let me just pull up the information for it. Is a 2022 game. It's for 1 to 4 players, designed by Gerard Asensi and Ferran Renalias. And the art is done by Jared Blando and Enrique Corominas, and it's published by Devere Games. I played a 4-player game of this and I loved it. I kind of knew I would because I feel like Devere Games just always hits it out of the park. Before I get into the overview and the gameplay, I will show one player board. So when I played this game, I played as purple, of course, because purple is my color. And the player boards, the cards are supposed to actually slide into the player boards. So each player board, you slide in the cards. So in the bottom part, only the bottom part of the cards will show, and then in the top part, the top parts of the cards will show. So in my player board, they were not sliding through, so I ended up, Devere already sent me a replacement board. But I tried fixing it myself, so the cards in the bottom 2 right slots were not sliding in, which made me think that maybe they were glued in the wrong spot, and they were. And I tried fixing it myself and totally destroyed the board. So if you want to see the anatomy of this board, here it is. So as you can see, there is like a big splotch of glue where there shouldn't have been, which is why my cards were not sliding into the bottom 2 slots in the, But here is the anatomy of a player board, in case you were curious. But now that I've shown you, I can recycle the broken parts. Okay, so in this game, let me pull out the big board first. This table is also a little bit weird. I feel like it's much lower than my dining table was, but I shall get used to it. So in this game, I believe you are playing as like Mozart's wife or something, and you're trying to like go around and have his pieces to, get his compositions finished or something like that. So there's different areas of the board. Like this is, I believe, called the Requiem area. No, is that called the Requiem? Or I can't remember what this area is called. But there's different areas of the board. Around this part of the board, you'll be traveling. Up here, you can get cards. And then down here, like I have to look in the rule book. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but yeah. So this is the board. And then each person's player board looks like this. And you're going to be keeping track of your different resources like here. So you have like 3 different kinds of resources plus money. And then this is your income tracker. And then here you have your own personal like tokens that you'll be putting out onto the board in what I believe is called the Requiem area. So yeah, yes, it is the Requiem. That's correct. All right, so each player starts with a hand of their own cards, which let me see if I can find a hand of cards. And then on your turn, you're basically going to, so from your own hand of cards, you'll be drawing certain cards. Here we go. Yeah. So this is like the starting hand of cards that you would have, except this this is like a composition, so that like goes to the side if you perform it or if you decide to sell it. So this doesn't count. I think that's the card that you put to the side, if I remember correctly. You know, it's been like 3 or so weeks since I've played this game. So yeah, so this is your hand of cards. And then when you decide to take an action, if you're taking the top action, so each round, you're gonna pick 2 cards. One will be the top, and then the bottom card that you slide in is going to be the resources you'll get at the end of the round. Once you've completed taking all of your actions and you've filled all 4 slots, you know, going in turn order, so each person will put 2 cards in, then the next person, and so on. And then once everyone has taken 4 actions, you are then going to be able to collect everything that shows at the bottom. If you decide to buy a card at any point from the main board, you have to discard trash the last card you put in. So you kind of have to be careful about which cards you're deciding to put in and which ones you're actually going to use. You know, different cards allow you to do different things. So let's just go over some of these actions. I don't remember exactly what all of them mean. Like, so there's, like this one, of course, lets you travel. So you can travel on the board and you have to like pay a certain cost to like move to different locations. And then you can pick up like different things and grab certain tiles that you'll see out there. Like, I think not these ones. Like for example, you can get end of game scoring tiles around the board. Let me see if I can find an example. Can't remember. I don't know which ones are the end of game scoring tiles right now. I cannot find them. But that's what you can do while you're traveling. You can pick up some new Opus cards, which you will want to perform. You can get like set collection points for them. There's just like a bunch of different things you can do. This is like a point salad-y game where on the main board, there's like, you can focus in on different areas. You might want to focus on the Requiem and trying to fulfill like different areas. So this part, the bottom part of the board, the Requiem area, it's kind of like an area control game because like, depending on where you put your tokens in which section of the Requiem, whoever has like the most will get like the most number of points at the end of the game, and then so on. So the points are indicated here. So depending on which kind of notes someone put there, you are trying to, you know, put your own notes there. So like, let me just show you an example. So yeah, so each person will have some like notes. So you'll have like these, and then like on the other side, those kind, and then depending on which composer's Requiem you're doing, I guess, I know that my terminology is terrible, because there's always going to be 2 composers in the game. So you're going to have 2 composers, and their tiles are going to be at the bottom of the Requiem, and you'll have like their portraits here, so you know which composer it is. And then the kind of note that you put down is associated with a certain kind of composer, and if you choose to buy that tile that is there, you know, the price will increase as you go through them. So like, for example, here is a tile that you might be able to buy from the bottom of the Requiem section, and it'll give you something. And then like, so for example, this one, I'm not sure exactly, it looks like it gives you 3 points, and then 1, you can get 1 of a certain kind of cube, but it costs 1 of those, and then it costs also 4 coins. So the cost of these will increase. So you're going to have like certain stacks of them down here. And then if you buy one of them, you get to put your token thing in that section on the matching symbol from where you took it on your own player board. So for example, in the first section, I could take a trumpet and place it in the first area of the Requiem. So you kind of have to pay attention to which symbols are left, because symbols will start to get depleted. In my game that I played a 4-player game of this. I actually won, and I won by focusing solely on the Requiem and traveling and getting end of game bonus points, because I had certain tiles that end of game scoring that allowed me to get extra points if I had a certain number of my tokens, meeples in the Requiem section. So I really focused heavily on Requiem and traveling, and scored a lot in that way. So yeah, but there's other ways to score, like you can perform like opuses, there's other things you can do, but I didn't focus in on those. I watched the Broken Meeple's review of this game, and he described this board as just another boring beige board. I do like Luke, by the way, before I go into that and say that. I don't think this board is as boring as other beige boards, to be honest. Like, the cover would make you think that it's going to be a very colorful game, but honestly, I think it's such a beautiful board. Like, it's got a little bit of color here and there, but I think it's really, oh, this is upside down, but I think it's really gorgeous. I don't think it's as boring as other beige games, to be honest, so that doesn't bother me too much. Would it look cooler if it actually looked like the cover of the game? Then yeah, I think it would. Like, if they had actually gone for this color palette instead, like whites and like bright bold reds, I think that would have looked really cool. But yeah, I think it's a great game. I don't like games where the theme and the mechanics don't seem to have anything to do with each other, which in this game they don't. Like, I don't feel like I'm composing music. I don't feel like, in the actions I take, it doesn't feel like the actual, the actions I take doesn't feel like the things it's supposed to be doing. Like, you know what I mean? So it doesn't feel like the theme and the mechanics are really strongly tied together. But despite that, I really enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed it because I won. I actually really enjoyed trying to figure out which cards to use in each round. And after you use some cards, then you would draw 2 new cards from your deck. And of course, it's kind of like a hand management game, kind of like a deck building game, so you kind of want to improve your deck of cards based on which cards you buy from the market. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, even though the theme and mechanics didn't seem to have anything to do with each other. It honestly could have been any theme, I suppose. But it's cool that it's a game about music, I guess. As someone who doesn't know too much about music, I still really enjoyed it, even though I was in the orchestra when I was young. So one of my biggest life regrets is quitting the cello. So I used to play the cello for like 2 years, and then in the 3rd year I quit for no reason, and that's one of my biggest life regrets. So yeah, so anyway, so I actually really enjoyed this game. I thought it was really good, and I would love to play it again, even though, again, theme and mechanics don't really have much to do with each other. So I know that was probably not the best explanation, but I'm sure that there are a lot of videos out there already about this. It's just been so long since I played it, but I just really wanted to talk about it nonetheless. It's been a couple of weeks, so maybe I can refresh my memory and play it again at some point. Oh, here, let me just show you some of these. I think these are like some of the tiles that, actually, are they? I don't know what these are. Never mind, I don't know. Oh, these I think are just, no, I don't know what these are. I think they're like, oh yeah, okay, so these are bonus tiles. So in each round, if you did a certain action or something, then you can collect a bonus at the end of that round. So that's what these are. So like, for example, in this phase, if you traveled, you'll get an extra coin during the income phase. One thing that in this game that I did notice is really hard to get more income. So like, to go up on the income track is quite difficult, I would say. And I, at one point, was able to go up on it, but then I spent a lot of income to try to get the higher priced Requiem tiles. So that, hurt a bit. But yeah, like, here are some of the like better cards that would appear in the market, for example. So they would be similar to cards you already have, but better. So of course they're going to cost, extra. So you want to try and get better cards, of course, so that if you slide them into the bottom of your board, you'll get better income at the end of the round. As a sleever, I'm not sure that you can sleeve this game since you have to slide cards into the board. So that I'm not sure about. Here are like the resources. So in addition to having a resource tracker on your board that you keep track of with cubes, you can also collect these, which are like better because if you get these resources in the form of actual tokens, then you can spend them without, using the resources on your board, which you want to try to do if you can. But at the end of each round, your resources on your board will go down to 0, and then you'll collect income. So before you collect income, they'll go down to 0, so you want to try and spend them. So actually, you would want to try to spend the resources on your board before you try to spend these, since those are going to go down to 0 anyway. But these you can keep round to round, so they're more powerful. So yeah, so I guess that was Lacrimosa. Not very great explanation of it, but there we go. Okay. Speaking of DeVere games, another game I played recently was Luna Capital. So it'd been a long time since I played Luna Capital and I really wanted to play it again. So I just played it last night actually. So Luna Capital is a 2021 game designed by Jose Ramon Palacios, and the art is done by Albert Montes. And it's published by DeVere Games. It's for 1 to 4 players. I've only ever played it 2-player, but I really enjoy it. So this is a drafting and tile placement game. So you're creating a settlement on the moon. So each player, so on this board, you're going to have moon cards and then project tiles. And when you collect a moon card, you're also going to take all of the tiles below it. So there are 3 phases in this game, A, B, and C. And within each phase, there are 4 rounds, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so within phase A, you on the first turn will end up getting 1 card with 1 tile under it. And then on the second turn, you'll end up getting 1 card with 2 tiles under it. And then by the 4th turn, you'll end up getting 1 card with 4 tiles underneath it. But you also start the game with some cards in hand. So for example, here are some cards. So like here are some cards and they have numbers in the corner because your moon settlement can only be a maximum of 3 rows, but there's no limit on how many cards you can have in each row, but they must be sequentially numbered. So, they must go from low on the left to high on the right, and you can't have numbers out of order. But you can go from like 1 to 3, but you can't go like 1, 4, 3, so you can't go back. But, so that makes the game a bit trickier. So when you are trying to decide which cards to get and which tiles that are underneath it, because you have to collect them together, looking at the card numbers, it can be a bit difficult. There are these like little robots that you can collect, which can help you override the number part of putting them down in order, but those are hard to get. Certain projectiles will award you those robots. I didn't see a lot of them, to be honest. Here's an example of a projectile. This is a life system of some kind. So you can see with the tokens with the icons in the corner that there are different kinds of systems. So here's another life system, and then here's like a hab of some kind, like a hab mod or something. So there are different kinds of buildings you can build, and there are restrictions on where to place them. So after you put down a card, you're going to take the projectile, and the card you took is not the card you necessarily have to put down, but you do have to place down all the projectiles you just took. And they fit right into the cards like this. And then they all score in different ways. So the tiles score in different ways. So like, the hab mods, they need to be, the hab mods all have a requirement of what they want to be surrounded by, and they will score 2 points for each thing they are surrounded by. Let me just see if I can find one of those again. Yeah, so for example, this hab mod wants to be surrounded by meteors, and for each meteor that is around it, you will score 2 points. So this is a life system of some kind, and it also gives you a robot, as you can see in the top. And these are always scored in their biggest orthogonally adjacent groupings, and the life systems score separately. So there are different types of life systems, and they all will have their own groupings of orthogonally adjacent groups and score that way. There are greenhouses. Greenhouses also score for their largest grouping, but then you can also get set collection points from them. Meteorites, you score for whoever has the most will get the points for that. Residential, I can't remember because I actually didn't have any residential in my last game. But there are different kinds of project tiles that you need to put down. So, you know, it gets trickier and trickier as the rounds go on within a phase, and you have to take more projectiles and place them. There are ways to move, like destroy projectiles. There's a demolition tile. So if you get a demolition tile, you can, let me see if I can find one. Oh, here's one. So if you get one of these, you can place it over an already existing tile, or you could even cover up something that already exists on a card, even a meteor, and then you can place a new tile over that. So that can help if you need to open up a space that you've already filled in. So I really like this game in terms of tile placement games with like different scoring. I would say that this is one of my favorites. I do think it's a bit challenging, and for that reason I love it. And I also love it because of the theme. Like, I really love the theme. I love the artwork. Let me just show you some of the sponsor tiles. So each person is like a different sponsor of the moon, of their settlement. So, and you have like different tokens of yours. So each person also has like 3 tokens, and then you can also try to fulfill some game objectives. The first person to score to get an objective will get to put their token on it. There's only 3 objectives during the entire game. However, you check for those at the end of a phase. So if 2 people completed an objective at the end of a certain phase, they both can put their token on it. But if, like, say one person completed an objective in phase A and then that person met the objective requirement in phase B, they would not be able to then put their token on it. So they would have had to also have completed it in phase A as well. And here's an example of like a score sheet. So in yesterday's game, I scored 74 and my opponent scored 101. So it looks like, what did he get most of his points from? Oh, his points were pretty evenly distributed between everything. So yeah, but it's a good game. I really like it. And here are some examples of objective cards. And I like the rulebook, that the rulebook explains every objective card in detail, so you will know exactly what you are trying to get. So yeah. So there are long-term objectives and like short-term objectives. So yeah, so that is basically this game, Luna Capital. So if you like games like Cascadia or Calico, I would highly recommend this game. I think I would always prefer to play this over the other 2, in fact, so you can check it out. So that's Luna Capital from DeVere Games. Yeah. So now let's go on to, it's been so long since I've done this, I'm trying to remember what section I usually do next. I think I do games that games that I'm backing. I think I do that next. So I'll just go into games that I'm backing currently. That's weird. Could have sworn that campaign ended. Why is that still here? Oh, here we go. That's bizarre. For some reason, Unconscious Mind is still showing on my Kickstarter page, but I could have sworn that ended on November 22nd. So I don't know why that's showing. But yeah, I was a bit conflicted about backing Unconscious Mind just because, I used to work for Fantasia Games and then they fired me for bullshit reasons, but I did end up backing Unconscious Mind just because, it seemed like it's going to be a great game. And also because when I did work for them, I had given them I told them about one of the recurring dreams I have, and they turned it into a card in the game. So I'm like, one of my dreams is a card in the game, which is pretty cool. I don't think I have any you know, there's no likeness of me in any other game or anything like that. So to have a dream of mine in this game, and I even saw some content creators who covered this game post pictures that had my dream in it. So my card, my dream, is the one that you're on like a boardwalk and there's like a really brightly lit Ferris wheel in the middle of the water off to one side. So that was a recurring dream I would have, and you know, it's been a while since I've had it, but I had it a number of times, so I told them about it. And yeah, they brought it to life pretty well. So yeah, it looks like in the image though that the boardwalk kind of comes to an end. This boardwalk is like never ending though, like it just goes on and on and on, and off to either side there's water, and then off to one side there's this huge Ferris wheel. So yeah, so since my dream is in this game, I really thought I should back it for that reason. So I got the id Lite version, and I don't know why it's still showing up on projects I backed at the top when it's ended already. I did end up keeping my pledge for Hidden Leaders, Forgotten Legends, the expansion, just because I'm a completionist. And they did work out a solution for previous backers that they would print the card so we wouldn't have to print it ourselves. So it's like, fine. So I kept my pledge for that. And I'm currently backing Fit to Print, which has 12 days to go. So this I'm backing because the artwork looks really cute. It's got cute animals. It's about, you know, making a newspaper page, and it's a real-time game. It's a puzzly game, but I think you can play it non-real-time as well. So I'm backing it for the Kickstarter edition right now. So yeah, so that's all I'm backing at the moment. So let's go into games that I have received. But before we do that, you know, as I'm unpacking, I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of games that I decide to cull because the whole moving process was a nightmare. Packing took forever, and I realized I just have way too many games. Like 500 games is just an enormous amount, and a huge chunk of those 500 I had already moved into my sister's basement before moving into this house, and even then it still took forever to pack. So I think that's an enormous amount of games, and I need to get better about culling. So as I start unpacking, I'm going to try to be better about putting some games off to the side that I realize I should, you know, learn to live without. So anyway, so let's go on to games that I received. So the first one I'll talk about is Orconomics Premium Edition, though I did not get like the metal coins for this. So this is a game that I had covered for its Kickstarter, and it finally arrived. So let me just pull up the information for it. So, Orconomics is a 2022 game designed by Timofey Bokharev and Fyodor Korzenkov, and it is illustrated by Anton, I'm going to butcher this, Kosovarov, and it's published by Ares Games, and it's for 2 to 5 players. So it's like an economic game, but like your orcs. So anyway, I'll just show you some of the components. So in the center you will have one of these tiles, and then off of this you're going to have like the different sections. So you'll have like here, like here's like recycling, for example. So you're going to be creating a whole board by putting in the different sections, and the artwork is really cool. These are really nice. They're really nice and glossy. So yeah, I think with the premium edition, it comes with a few extra instead of just the main one, so you get 3 extra ones. I didn't actually open the cards yet, but here are some of the components. So you're going to be like, you know, building buildings in the different sections. Here, let me see if there's one of these are open. No. Oh, it looks like they're all taped and I didn't open any. Did I not open any of these? I thought I opened one of them. Maybe not. Well, I'll just hold it up for now. But like you are going to have like these different buildings that you'll be placing into the different sections and building them. It's been a long time since I covered this game, so honestly, I do not remember too much about it. But yeah, oh wait, this one's open. I can show you this one. Okay, here we go. So yeah, so you'll have these like different buildings. So this is again the premium edition. I think in the regular edition, it's just going to be like some cardboard tokens. So yeah, so you'll be placing these around the board. So yeah, I do hope I'll get a chance to play this soon because I think it would be fun to play with the production copy. So this arrived. So I'll put this back. But yeah, here is the box. And yeah, and here is like some skull money. So again, I did not get the metal money, so this is just the cardboard. And like, I think if you get the regular edition, you get these like cardboard tokens instead of the miniatures that I just showed you. And again, there are some cards, but I haven't opened up the cards yet. So, but here's an example of a card. It's getting nice and sunny. It was raining before. It was such a gloomy day. And I also got my COVID booster today. So yeah. Okay, so before PAX, I thought it would be a good idea. All right, the next two games I bought. So I kept on mentioning how I really wanted the chocolate edition of Azul, and apparently it's a limited edition. I don't know how limited it is, to be honest. Like, it says limited edition actually on the box, but honestly, I mean, I don't think it's that limited. But I really wanted the chocolate edition. So here is, and it's nice that even though with the new Azul games, they've been going for the flimsy cardstock paper, but for the special edition, they still went with the cardboard, which I like. I wonder if I can buy, I don't think I have it, but I need to buy those like overlays you can put on so that the pieces won't move around. I think they have those for the original Azul too, right? So I might buy those. But yeah, here is the chocolatey board, which I love. And it comes with this nice bag with all the chocolatey pieces. So yeah, I love the chocolate. So the white chocolate is just plain, but the brown one has like those little squigglies on it. This is also plain. This one is really nice. And then this one. Yeah, so I really like the chocolate edition, and it's gonna replace the original edition for me, just because I love chocolate and must eat chocolate while playing this. So I finally bought this. And then I bought this game called Garden Nation from Bombyx Games, which, you know, I haven't had a chance to play either of these yet. I'm really hoping I'll get to play Garden Nation at some point. So here is Garden Nation from Bombyx Games. I tend to like Bombyx Games' games. What else have they had? They've had like Takenoko, they've had Glow, you know, the French title Lure. I know I don't speak French and I've totally butchered that. What else have they had? They've had a number of games that I have liked, but I cannot think of right now. Oh, Imaginarium, absolutely love Imaginarium. So yes, so I tend to like Bombyx Games' games. So I was really attracted to this when I saw it on Instagram, and I just felt like I had to have it. So there's different player boards. So I think you're like playing as different tribes, and I think it's like an area control game, but again, I haven't played it yet. So you're going to be constructing a board by placing these in the corners and then filling these up with these. And then there are these amazing components, which I will show you. So let me show you the green ones. So you have these amazing components that you can stack up on top of each other like this. And it also comes with some other, so it comes in 4 different colors. So there's 4 different player colors, which I'll just show you. So there's blue, yellow, green, and red. And then it has these really cool components, which I don't remember what they're called. But yeah. I think these are like the tops of the houses, the tops of the buildings, or maybe, or I think that's what they are. And the cards are really nice in this game. Like, I feel like it would even be a shame to like sleeve them. They just feel like really nice. Kind of like thick cardstock cards. So I think that these are like secret objectives, like that each person will have that they're trying to meet, I think. And here are the backs of the cards, which are beautiful as well. So yeah, and they come in this cute little tuck box. So yeah, so that is Guardian Nation. So I would really like to give this a go. And here are like some player components. So you can see the different player components. Yeah, so I got that as well. So that is all I have in terms of new stuff, I believe. So yeah, so sorry this video, I feel like such a mess. But you know, moving has been so exhausting. Last night I fell asleep while watching TV and I ended up sleeping for like God knows how many hours, like way too much. Moving has just been so exhausting. Like even the whole unpacking and organizing process has been exhausting. I had to go back to my apartment several times to like finish packing and cleaning, and that took a lot of work. Like it just took me days and days. It was just a very exhausting process. I would just fall asleep on the couch every evening, just being so tired. And then last night I fell asleep on the couch again and I slept for a very long time. So anyway, so there's still a lot of unpacking and organizing to do, but I'm looking forward to PAX Unplugged. If you are going to be at PAX Unplugged and you see me, do say hi. You know, I don't bite, I'm pretty friendly. so I love meeting new people. So if you see me, please do say hi. I tend not to go up to people on my own because I don't know like who is like friendly to me and who isn't, just because, you know, I have been bullied by people in this industry. And so I tend to have a policy of not to go up to anyone on my own. So if you come up to me, then I'll know you're a friendly face. And of course, I'll be happy to talk to you. But otherwise, I don't, you know, go up to people on my own. Unless, of course, I know them for sure and know that, yes, I'm on good terms with them. But otherwise, I tend to just keep to myself. So, but if you do see me and you want to say hi, then definitely do say hi. So yeah, I'll probably just be spending most of the time in the exhibition hall, which I usually do, just walking around, and then hopefully playing some games with my Ithaca friends, I hope. Oh, tomorrow is my birthday. If you're watching this on Monday, November 28th, that is my birthday. So as usual, every year I do like a birthday fundraiser for a nonprofit that is important to me. So I do that on Facebook every year. So if you have Facebook, you could donate if you want to, of course, no pressure. So this year I chose the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust as my nonprofit, since I did visit their orphanage, which was a lifelong dream. And I finally got to visit their elephant orphanage in Kenya in July, or was it June? I don't remember now. I think it was July. So their, you know, mission means a lot to me. They work on rescuing baby elephants who have lost their mothers due to poaching, due to snares, due to drought and wildlife disasters, but mostly due to human, you know, conflict. I won't say conflict because it's humans who are doing all the harm. Animals don't really do any harm. So yeah, you know, but due to human destruction, these poor babies have lost their mothers and families and herds. So if you feel inclined to, you know, donate, that would be so appreciated. So, you know, their cause is really important to me. Or if you just, you know, in honor of my birthday, want to donate to any animal organization, that would really mean a lot. But again, no pressure. So yeah, so maybe I'll try linking that below. I tried linking to it on Twitter the other day and it did not work. So, but I'll try again. What else? I think that's it for now. And again, sorry that I was like such a mess in this video, but you know, hopefully once I'm all settled in, you know, I'll get back into the flow of things and things will go better. And hopefully, you know, I don't know how much of a haul, if any, I'll get from PAX Unplugged, because honestly, I've not really been able to connect with any publishers, because as I had mentioned in a video like a couple months ago, the Hungry Gamer banned me from the Board Game Reviewers and Media Group, which was complete bullshit. I was banned for no reason, and so that's where publishers tend to post and about openings that they have for meetings. And since I was banned for no reason, I cannot see which publishers are available for meetings, and I cannot book any meetings. So I don't know how much of a haul, if anything, I'll get, because I've been banned from that group, again, for no good reason. And I discussed that in a previous video. If you feel inclined to go find it, you can. So yeah, so I don't know how many publishers I'll get to meet with and stuff like that. At this moment, I really have nothing booked except for one demo that I'm going to be doing for like some small indie game. Yeah, so we'll see how PAX goes this year since I was banned from that group. I really wish that publishers would like send out emails to people on their content creators list so that they could find out about meetings that way, you know, if there's any openings, because I've not really gotten any emails for that. So that sucks. What else? I guess that's it then. I guess I'll just briefly mention, you know I talk about this all the time and I sound like a broken record, but whatever. So the game, it's called Maple Valley. It's like kind of like a spin-off of Creature Comforts, which is a game I had covered when it was on Kickstarter. Because at the time, you know, I had no way of knowing that Helena Kappel is Zionist and that, you know, she supports, you know, the Zionist agenda. So back when Creature Comforts was on Kickstarter, I had covered the game and my name is even mentioned in the rulebook. Funny. So, but anyway, Maple Valley is on Kickstarter and I just think it's completely hypocritical that, you know, people who would tell others on Twitter not to back games from problematic publishers, that is, in their eyes, publishers who are problematic, who, for example, don't support Black Lives Matter or didn't have it like plastered on their websites or whatever, and people who supposedly like don't support women's rights to abortion. You know, when that happened, when Roe versus Wade was overturned, people like Suzanne and others on Twitter were telling everyone to not, you know, support games from publishers who don't support a woman's right to choose. So on the one hand, they'll tell you not to support games from these problematic publishers, but then they are openly promoting Maple Valley when it's very obvious that Helena Kappel is a Zionist, which is why all of that happened. Again, at the end of the day, it was not about me not being able to review a game. At the end of the day, it became all about the industry's hypocrisy and double standards. So Zionism, again, you know, supports the killing, the extermination of Palestinians, and that includes a lot of children and babies and women. And if Helena is a Zionist and she cannot say what the difference between Black Lives Matter and Palestinian Lives Matter is, it should be pretty clear to you how she feels about the killing of Palestinians. Because if someone said to you that Black Lives Matter is complicated and, you know, they can't explain to you their feelings about it, these people like Suzanne would shut them down and be like, no, we can't support them. But it's perfectly fine if someone says, oh, you know, the Palestine issue is complicated. No, it's not complicated. The killing of innocent people is never complicated. So on the one hand, you have people like Suzanne who will tell you not to support publishers who do not support Black Lives Matter and the women's right to choose. And now all of a sudden here they are openly promoting, you know, Maple Valley on Twitter and elsewhere. Complete bullshit. And we know Helena Kappel is Zionist from that recording that I posted of our conversation, in which she repeatedly said that it's complicated and that she cannot tell you what the difference between Palestinian Lives Matter is and Black Lives Matter is. You know, newsflash, there is no difference. So if you support one, you should definitely support the other. In fact, the Black Lives Matter organization came out in support of Palestinians and had a statement on their own website in support of Palestinians, yet you still have Our Family Plays Games supporting Kids Table Board Gaming, who are Zionist, which is complete bullshit and a lack of integrity. So I'm just going to point out those double standards, which is why at the end of the day, if these same people are like, oh, you should never keep politics out of board games, but if you are so, insistent that politics be a part of board games, then you should really educate yourself about which people you're still choosing to support. There is a shit ton of double standards and hypocrisy in this industry, and you can see it time and time again. It's just infuriating. But that just goes to show that really Arab lives and Muslim lives just do not matter at all. But we already knew that. So yeah, I just thought I would put out that, put that out there because, again, we can see the double standards and hypocrisy. So on that happy note, let me know if you're going to PAX Unplugged and what game, if you were going to PAX Unplugged, you would most be looking forward to demoing or buying or trying out or whatever. So until next week, bye.